Hi everyone. Welcome to Mixed Methods Research. I hope that you enjoy this course as much as I've enjoyed putting it together. I wanted to show you, take a moment to introduce the course to you so you know how to navigate and how best to use the online Canvas format, and introduce you to the different pieces that we're going to be working with in Canvas, and also introduce the course again to you, as I know most of you probably did not attend the live introduction this past seminar. So, what you're seeing now on your screen is what the student view will look like, except that once the course is live, these different links will be a different color. Right now they're grayed out, just because the course isn't live yet, and the students can't actually access that yet. But the office, you'll have at the top an office area with an office link to where you can ask questions. I'm going to go ahead and click on this, see if it opens up. You can post your questions. I will be posting announcements through this link, so please check. Every time you log in, it's just a good habit to go to the office first and check to make sure, see if there's any announcements. I don't put in a lot of announcements, but I do, particularly as the course gets going, start putting in things week 3 and 4. But anyway, keep checking back into this area to see if I've posted anything, or if your fellow students have asked a question that I've then responded to and answered, and it may be a question that you're sitting with as well. So if you click on Home, it always takes you back to this front page. Technically, these are called modules. It's set up in a modular format, so you have the Office module, the week 1 and 2 module, etc. So under this Office module, under the Office area, I'll just call it the Office area, you'll have that Office discussion forum. I've also added a chat tool this time, so you can go ahead and click on that and you'll see if any other students or myself are on, and it says load chat tool in a new window. You just click on that and it will bring up the actual chat function. See, right now it says one person here, the test student, that's me. If other people are here, it'll say who's there, and you can chat with those individuals. So we'll see how that goes. And if you have questions for me when I'm on, you can go ahead and contact me and see if you can go ahead and ask your question live rather than posting it through the chat function. The other thing that you're going to see under Office is a link that says video in all caps, and that's going to be this video I'm making right now, which you've probably already clicked on, and it's going to say video : course introduction. I'm mentioning that because you're going to see that format repeated throughout the course. So when you go down into week 1 and 2, you're going to see at the beginning video : and then it'll be the name of the video. And you want to go ahead and watch those videos first because it's my introduction to the content for those weeks. And because we're having discussion every 2 weeks in this class, I may go ahead and make 2 videos that you would have to watch then, and just to introduce you to the content. Is it required that you watch the videos? No, not necessarily, but I think it helps you stay connected to the course, and you get to see me and my explanations of the content and the introduction. I think that's helpful, and a lot of people have told me that it's helpful to see those. They're usually short, usually anywhere from 5 minutes to 15 minutes long. This one's going to be a bit longer just because I'm explaining the class for the first time. So Office, chat tool, you'll see a video link. And I'm not done creating the course yet, so there's going to be a few more links in here, but I wanted to show you the basic format. So you'll have the video. Then you're going to have something that's read in all caps, and that's your assignment for your reading for the 2-week segments. So for the weeks 1 and 2, if you hover over this with your mouse, you'll see it comes up, and the full text will come up, and you can see what that because it cuts it off. So for the first week, read the DCMMR chapters 1 and 2, and the MM Reader pages 1 through 118. Now remember, this is for 2-week periods. So each week you want to plan on reading 1 chapter out of the Mixed Methods Reader, mixed methods research, designing and conducting mixed methods research text, and then roughly 50 pages out of the mixed methods reader, that text. I'll try and post the links there. And when we get to the required reading, I'm going to show you those texts in Amazon. But again, let me repeat that. There's going to be essentially one chapter per week in the designing and conducting mixed methods research text, and roughly 50 pages of reading per week in the mixed methods reader. So over a 2-week period, you got 2 chapters in the text, the main text, and roughly 100 pages in the mixed methods reader. So that's how you find out the readings for the course. Under the next link, you have due. These are the things that you're expected to do for that time period. So in this case, fill out the pre-test, go on your walk, and fill out the post-test. I'll be talking about that a bit more. It has to do with the praxis and practical application piece of the class, and I'll get into that in a bit. The next link is a sample informed consent form for this particular week. You want to go ahead and look at that sample informed consent form. When you see a little cloud with an arrow pointing down, that means there's a file that's attached. If you click on that, you can download that attachment. If you see something that's a rectangular bubble looking with a little triangle down here, that's a discussion forum. So if you click on this, it says week 1-2 theory. That's the discussion for the first 2 weeks. And we'll hold our discussion in that discussion forum there. We also have a discussion forum that's specifically for practical application. So I like to split my research classes into the theoretical discussion and then questions about the practical application piece of the praxis piece, which is having to do with filling out the assignments and completing the interviews and all that type of stuff. You can ask questions there and talk about how the process is going for you and connect with each other around that process in the second discussion forum, the application forum. You're going to be expected to post in both forums, so do make sure to post in both forums and respond to others in both forums. This is meant to be a discussion where people are talking about the theory, talking about how they're engaging in the practical application, asking each other questions. Hey, how'd you do this assignment? This is what I did. Go ahead and have those discussions. It's not just meant to be you writing a short paper and posting it up and having no interaction with your classmates. My goal is to facilitate your ongoing discussion around the topic that we're discussing, the theoretical piece as well as the practical application. I believe that is a better learning experience for you as you engage others and discuss what's going on in the class. So please do plan on doing that in this course. Those are the discussion forums. Now if you see a page with a little downturn corner here, where my mouse is pointing, and an A in the lower left hand corner, that's an assignment. And you'll notice that there are points, for both the discussion forums and the assignments. There's points on the right hand side here. But that little page with an A on it is the assignment area. That's where you upload your assignment. In this case, what I'm hovering over is the pretest survey assignment. So once you complete your pretest survey, you're going to go here and upload that pretest survey in this spot. So if I click on this pretest survey, what's going to happen is you're going to get this text here. I'm going to try and put in due dates. So right now it says no due date, but I'll put in due dates. How many points, how you submit, you upload a file, and then this is from the syllabus. This is what I wrote about the assignment. So you can go ahead and reread that. If you should have already read it before you did the assignment, but you can reread that. And then up in the upper right hand corner here it says this little plus mark, submit assignment. And you go ahead and click that and follow the instructions. You're basically attaching a file and uploading it to the site. Make sure you complete that process so that you fully submit your file to that assignment area. And then what I do is I go into those assignment areas. I can either download your file or I can make comments directly on your file within Canvas. And quite often for papers and whatnot, that's what I do. I'll make comments there, and you can go back into that assignment and look at your comments that I've put on your paper there. Alright, that's assignments. So I'm going to click home to go back to the main area and scroll down. So that's what a week 1 and 2 would look like. So you'd watch the videos, you'd read your text, you'd do whatever you need to do for that week, downloading different documents that I've uploaded for you, participate in the discussions, and then upload your completed assignments in the different links that are there for you. All right. So I'm going to leave the student view now, and this is what it looks like on my end. I have this extra stuff on the right hand side where I add things and edit different pieces. And you see that it's green now, so when it's live it'll be green. That's a link that you can actually use. You also notice I have a few more things at my disposal on the left hand, a few more links on the left hand side. You don't have all those, so don't worry if you don't see those when you are in the system. So this is the home area again. If you go into the syllabus, I'm going to click on the syllabus. The syllabus is actually uploaded into the system here, and you can scroll through and read. You have the course description, that's what the course is about. My philosophy of teaching, you can browse that if you wish. The course policies on academic honesty, confidentiality, individual and cultural differences, and accommodations for disability. The course aims and how they relate to learning objectives. This is what I hope to accomplish in this course. So you can go through and read those and say, okay, this is where we're headed. These are the specific learning objectives, understanding the basic mixed methods research theory and history of the emergence of mixed methods designs, create a one-person mixed method study, including informed consent forms, semi-structured interview, and selection of an appropriate quantitative survey. I've changed that a bit. We're actually I have given you the survey that we're going to use, and the person that you're going to interview is actually within the class. We're going to keep this, because it's a summer course in particular, we're just going to keep it within the class. It's going to speed things along, and then we can analyze our quantitative data just within ourselves that we've filled out with the survey, and then you'll look at all the different interviews that we've conducted, the transcripts from the interviews that we've conducted over with each other, essentially. You're going to have to transcribe that interview and analyze it using basic thematic content analysis. I'm using Rosemary Anderson's basic thematic content analysis. Those of you who've gone through qualitative research methods, there's a reason that I'm limiting it to this one type of thematic content analysis. Not everybody has necessarily been through QRM. So this just makes it a bit easier to keep everybody on track, and then we can look at the basic themes that are emerging and compare that to the basic quantitative findings of the study. If you are doing a full dissertation, you would, for your qualitative piece, you might not use basic thematic content analysis. You might go into much more depth using narrative, hermeneutics, heuristics, whatever the case may be. And number 5 here, have a deeper understanding of the mixed methods used with regard to their epistemology, ontology, and historical connections to the general field of research methods. And a lot of that you're going to get through the readings of through the mixed methods research text and the mixed methods reader. I do look for transpersonal qualities, being compassionate with each other, supportive, going through your own self-observation. You can read through that. Evidence and criteria for evaluation. You have course assessment, breadth and depth, engagement with praxis, the practical application piece. So it's not just a theoretical discussion here. You actually have to engage in the praxis element. That's part of your learning. Organizational and logical development, clarity, grammar, APA style, and creativity. I am strongly discouraging incompletes at this point. Just get everything done in the quarter if you're able to. Under extreme circumstances, I can see that an incomplete may be needed. For example, with all the flooding happening in Texas, somebody from Texas might need an incomplete. So if you have a natural disaster in your area that's preventing you from engaging in your work, you might need an incomplete. If something happens in your family that's death in the family, something like that, contact me. Let me know. If you're not going to be able to finish the course, then I'll grant an incomplete. However, if you're just falling behind, I'm less likely to grant an incomplete for something like that. All right, the required readings for this course. The first text is the American Psychological Association's publication manual. Most of you probably already have that by now. This is what it looks like, the APA manual. You can get it through Amazon or any number of vendors, Barnes & Noble, whoever. Doesn't really matter who you get it from, but this is what the publication manual looks like. The second text is Cresswell and Plano-Clark's Designing and Conducting Mixed Methods Research, the second edition. And this is what that text looks like. Again, you can buy it. Plan on reading one chapter per week. And we will be having a quiz in week 10, so make sure to be familiar with the definitions of mixed method research as well as the different types of mixed methods research. Take a look at the syllabus. I do talk about what's going to be covered in that quiz in week 10. But all that content is going to come from this text. And the third required text is the Mixed Methods Reader by Plano-Clark and Cresswell. That text looks like this. It's the orange text, and I refer to it as the MM Reader. Plan on reading about 50 pages per week, roughly 100 pages per 2 weeks. This is the text that shows you examples of different types of mixed methods research, shows you examples of the theoretical debates that are happening within the field. This is going to orient you and give you more depth to the class. But I'm not going to be necessarily pulling quiz questions from this text. If you start getting behind, this is a place where you could skim some of the articles, get the main gist of what's being said, rather than memorizing every detail. But I do recommend you read it. And in fact, we'll try and work some of that content into our discussions. And finally, for those of you who haven't had the qualitative research class, please do get the Interviewing as Qualitative Research, a guide for researchers in education and the social sciences. Everybody in the qualitative research methods class has probably already bought this book. It was required for that class. This is what the 4th edition looks like. I have the 2nd edition. Both of them can be used. If you have an earlier version, don't worry about it. Just use that. You don't have to get the newest version, although you might find a lot of useful information in the newer version. I don't know. I haven't looked at it. But the point of having this interviewing as qualitative research is so that you can know how to put your interview together, your questions, and gain some skills for how to approach the interview if you've never interviewed anybody before. Because you are going to be conducting an interview in this class and transcribing that interview. Additional texts which are not required but are recommended, obviously any of Anderson and Broad's texts on transpersonal research, transforming self and others through research, or Rosemary Anderson's 5 Ways text that she wrote with other qualitative researchers. Patton's Understanding Research Method and Overview of the Essentials. That's for a very introductory text for those who are new to research methods. and Tashikori and Tedley's mixed methodology, combining qualitative and quantitative approaches. They're another famous or well-grounded set of researchers and authors who write about mixed methods. It's not just Cresswell and Plano-Clark. These two also write a fair amount. Further down in the syllabus, you have the grading, you have what's expected for attendance, what's expected for posting, what the minimum word count, make sure to look at that, APA style, please put references if you're referring to a text, your papers, what are expected using APA 6th edition format. Please have a title page on your papers when you submit them. Your name should always be on every paper that you submit to me. So, because if I download a bunch of papers and I have one that doesn't have a name on it, it's hard to give you a grade for it if your name's not on it. All right. Assignments. Our discussions are really going to be chunked into 2-week chunks. Now you can have the discussion for the full 2 weeks in that area, but they aren't going to be, I'm not going to be popping in and monitoring your discussion in the first of the 2 weeks. I'm really going to be focusing my efforts in the second of the 2 weeks. So you can start the discussions in, for example, in the week 1 and 2 chunk. Start the discussions in week 1 if you want, but by week 2 of Wednesday have your initial post. That's the latest. Wednesday of the second week, you should be having your initial post, and by that Saturday night, your response posts as well. And then at the end of that 2-week chunk, the following Monday, what I do is I go in and I say, okay, has everybody participated as they needed to in these discussions? And I'll go through and look at participation and then give you a participation grade for those discussions. But I'm only going to do that every 2 weeks, and instead of every week like you'd find in a class during the rest of the year. And I'm trying this just because it's summer. I'm trying to allow people a bit more space if they need to go on vacations and do what they need to do. We'll see how it goes. Beyond that, the assignments are due the Friday of each second week. So week 2, you have assignments due. Week 4, week 6, week 8, and week 10. All right. The assignment details are below. So the weekly reading discussion posts, I have it detailed out exactly what's expected. You have your week 2 papers, which is actually a survey, a quantitative survey that we're going to be using just as an example, called the Spiritual Emergence Scale. I'll upload that. You'll need to download it. The praxis element for this is taking the spiritual emergence scale and then going for a 20 to 30 minute walk in nature. Walk in a quiet and reflective manner, thinking about your own spiritual experiences that you've had in your life. And then once you get back from that walk, complete the post-test, complete the spiritual emergence scale again, without looking at your prior scores. So when you save that download, you'll want to save it twice, once as the pre-test, once as the post-test. Make sure your name is in that. This is going to be confidential. Your names aren't going to be going out of this class. So this isn't for a formal study that's going to be published or anything. What I need to know is I need your name on it so that I can make sure that you've done the praxis component. So you might have spiritual emergence scale for Rominger, put your last name in, pre-test, and then spiritual emergence scale, Rominger post-test. And then that way I know you've done both the pre-test and the post-test. I'm going to collect all the quantitative pieces and create an Excel spreadsheet and put all that data in and kick it back to the students so you can start looking at the quantitative pieces. I'll be doing that while you all are then engaging in the next piece, which is conducting your interviews. But back to this piece. You're going to take the spiritual emergence scale as a pretest, go for your 20 to 30 minute walk in nature, walking in a quiet reflective manner, thinking about spiritual experiences you've had in your life, and then complete the post-test. and upload both the pretest and the post-test into the assignment areas. You also have a second assignment for week 2, which is using the informed consent form template online. You're going to create an informed consent form of your own that you're going to use with your interviewee. So you're going to be interviewing another student in the class. I'll pair you up and let you know who's paired up with whom, and you're going to interview each other. So you need to create that informed consent form and upload that as an assignment, and along with that, a set of interview questions that you would think you would like to ask this other person. You want to tie those interview questions to the spiritual emergence scale, so you're focusing on similar things. But you might have a couple additional questions that you also want to ask. So go ahead and put those in there as well. Note that your interview is not going to be that long. It's only 30 to 45 minutes long. This isn't an hour to 2-hour interview like you might have done in the qualitative class, or you would do maybe for your dissertations. Keep it short, 30 to 45 minutes, but no less than 30 minutes. You want a good chunk of data. So in week 3, you're going to be, and 3 to 4, you're going to be conducting your interview and transcribing your interview. So at the end of week 4, your interview transcript will be due. Notice the format that I've requested for the transcript. You want to have I for interviewer and P for participant. And you put the initial at the front and the question that was asked. Then you put P, colon, and their response, and you go back and forth. That's how you're going to create your transcript for this class. If everybody does it the same way, then we can look across transcripts, and it's easier to be comparing a group of transcripts all together because they have the same format. In week 6, then, you're going to have a review of 3 peer-reviewed mixed method articles. You're going to find those in the Sophia library looking for mixed methods research. Find 3 articles that use mixed method formats, and you're going to review them and using the review outline that I'm going to post online, and then you're going to upload that by the end of week 6, by the Friday of week 6. Week 8, you'll have your basic thematic content analysis of the interview due, and in week 10 you'll have your quiz and the final paper due. And the final paper is going to be combining or synthesizing your basic thematic content analysis and the quantitative findings to see how they might go together. And that's the class. I hope you're going to enjoy it. I think it should be fun. If all else, it'll be interesting to see what happens. And if you have questions along the way, please do let me know. You can always email me. We can set up times to talk. I'm not going to require that we have any phone discussions for this class, but if you want to, we can set up a phone discussion to discuss different things that are coming up, or if you have questions or how you might want to apply something to your own dissertation or whatnot. Beyond that, keep checking the office area. You can post questions there. You can send me emails at ryan.rominger@sophia.edu, or contact me however you need to. All right, take care, and we will see you online.